Welcome in, everybody, to Bedford High School in Bedford, New Hampshire this evening for tonight's girls' varsity soccer game against the visiting Portsmouth Clippers. I'm Corey Munster-Tiger for BCTV. I'm joined here in the box today with good friend Lauren Fox, frequent visitor to the BCTV and WBNH airways. Appreciate you bringing some color to the broadcast this evening.
It has been a minute. I'm excited to watch this game, though. You and I have watched a lot of Bedford soccer this year, and the Bulldogs having a great year so far. 11-0-1, that lone tie coming at the hands of Exeter several weeks back. It was 3-3, and they're going up against a really tough Portsmouth team tonight, 10-1-1. Portsmouth's lone loss of the season is against the Bishop Girton team that Bedford hasn't faced yet. They lost 2-0 to BG. BG, of course, undefeated, 12-0. Their one tie, a 1-1 matchup against Exeter as well. So you have two teams, their common opponent or their common tie. The only blemish on the record for the Bulldogs has been that tie against Exeter. So curious to see what's going to happen. Of course, Bedford is hosting the game here, a little bit of home field advantage, and these Portsmouth Clippers have been hanging around through the JV game. So we'll see if that potentially plays a role in how they come out, whether they come out fresh or maybe a little bit flat.
Like the seasoned broadcaster he is, an excellent intro to this game. Two powerhouse teams. We're excited about this tilt tonight between Portsmouth and Bedford.
I messed you up.
We are getting to kickoff here very shortly. The Bedford Bulldogs are in their home black uniforms, so black up top, black shorts, black socks. The Portsmouth Clippers are wearing white tops, white shorts, white socks. So it could be an allegory for good versus evil. I'm not sure who's good and who's evil in this one. But
I mean, usually if you're home, you're in your home whites.
Home whites,
today,
right?
Bedford apparently declared that they were the dark jerseys. Corey might know more. It's just
they went similar to football. They went dark.
They went dark at home. So there you go. So the Bulldogs are like Johnny Cash today, except women in black, not the man in black.
The lights are slowly coming on here in Bulldog Stadium. Weather tonight is absolutely gorgeous, 70-degree day. It's cooling off a little bit as the sun goes down. Ball girls spread around the outside of the boundaries, ready to help the Bulldogs keep the game flowing nicely. Officials are getting stretched out, ready for some soccer tonight.
Like, seriously, that we saw a good JV game earlier, and you're not going to give the highlights of that one. Where did you get that sweatshirt? I'm talking to my young child. The Bulldogs went down 1-0 in that game. Nice breakaway, and Portsmouth was able to get the shot. Took a 1-0 lead. And Bedford, and you're not going to say this on the air, but I'm going to, off a nice corner kick on the far side from Mackenzie Forrester, and Nellie Munster-Tiger hammered it home to tie the game up at 1-1. Bedford had their chances in that game, but unfortunately couldn't hammer it home, and that was the final.
That was the final. They ended up tying 1-1 against a strong Portsmouth JV team, but our varsity team is underway here. First action in tonight's evening. So Forrester gets control of the ball, up quick to Crowder. Now out to the side. Forrester playing tough on the ball is going to serve it back into the middle. That's Olivia Matthews chasing it down. She can't quite control it.
Should I be concerned that my 12-year-old just asked for my car keys?
Possibly.
Okay.
Possibly. It depends on what kind of risk-taking streak she has in her.
Just checking.
Up quick now. That's Morris. Chasing down the near sideline here. Ava Dubois trying to put pressure on this Portsmouth defense. Bedford has an extremely strong back line here. Strong players, seasoned players, strong on the ball. Nice service up to the left wing there. That will go out of bounds for a corner. Sari Stein usually takes these corners, but it looks like she will not on this one.
Strong left foot for Sari. If you happen to see that Winnicunnet game, and Corey, I showed you the video earlier, but she had a shot from just inside the 18, outside the box, and almost took out the entire wall with her left foot.
Cannon on the free kick. Was able to score on that particular replay. Corner here from the goalie's right side. Towering kick to the backside. Got a head on it. We're going to see another corner. This time from the near side, so Sari Stein will come with her left foot.
And this one always fun to watch with Sari. She's got a howitzer attached, as we were discussing about during the game, but she definitely has a strong boot, makes it a lot of fun to watch. And I wouldn't, we were talking, we were watching the video of that play. I wouldn't have gotten in the way of that ball. No chance. Forget it. I like my teeth.
Some of the players in the wall did shy away from it, as we see a service to the backside again. Head misses. Some action on the far side, cleared out by Portsmouth.
And you'd love to have on those corners any kind of a shot on goal. Neither corner really resulted in much of anything against this Portsmouth team that's allowed a mere 8 goals in 12 games. Bedford has allowed only 7 in their 12. So if there was a line on this, I would say whatever it is, take the under.
Strong defensive back lines on both sides. Cleared out by Portsmouth. Up to their striker, Mia Smith. With both teams having such strong back lines, you might expect to see a lot of this team dictated through the midfield. Solid physical play expected from both sides. Zoe Santos will take the boot through the midfield, one bouncing over. It's Lana Morris. Back to Stein and out to the side to Taryn Neftali.
And Lana, as a footnote, in the last game against Winnicott, took a cleat to the face and had a few stitches after the fact as well. Tough play and a tough player, of course, to not miss any action and come right back for this.
Bulldogs being patient with the ball, trying to scope out some opportunities up front. They're going to play wide and then into the middle, following a specific pattern of play. Try to dominate in the midfield and get it out to the wings. Work the ball up the sidelines and then serve it into the middle.
This is like watching the New Jersey Devils play hockey about 20 years ago.
You loved that trap, didn't you?
Yep.
Missed there on the 1-2, so Portsmouth will throw it in on the far sideline.
This game so far has, and granted we're only 5 minutes in, but it's largely been played between the 20-yard lines. So to your point, midfield is going to be where it's at, and can you set up a little bit of a break, get a little bit of spacing, get somebody into space?
Sure.
This is what happens when you have a person who knows what the words are, but doesn't quite know how to apply them yet.
Fair enough. Good strong play right there on the ball from Portsmouth. Service into the box, but that's going to be easy for Santos to corral coming off her line. Good step to the ball there by Morgan Runke for the Clippers.
Note coming into the press box from BCTV Hall of Famer Andrew Hansen, who is residing up in Cumberland, Maine. Bill Jennings doesn't know it, but there is a BCTV Hall of Fame. He was actually inducted in it. He just didn't give the speech. We thought it was going to take too long if he gave the speech.
Do the inductees get a plaque or do they get a bust? Like what? Do they get a yellow jacket?
The plaque for the alternates is in the bathroom at BCTV. That's a Top Gun reference. I'm sorry.
That's it. Yep. That's it. Love it. Thank you. That was Iceman right there, wasn't it?
Yep.
Okay, just making sure I'm with you. Good step to the ball by Forrester. Services. Morris might have a chance to run onto this. It's played well by the Portsmouth back line, though, and out to the side. Into the middle here. Forrester with a shot. Just wide right. Good ball just above the 18-yard box there. And had a good strike on it, just wide though.
Great strike on it, missed wide by about 3 feet. And it's interesting to look, and I don't know if it's a cultural thing within the Portsmouth program or if the coaching is spread down from varsity level to the JV, but both of these teams, varsity and JV, play a very similar style as far as content to take the ball back on defense, content to sort of take their time and let the game come to them instead of forcing the action on defense and getting out of position.
Having a lot of stress on possession of the ball. Possession. Can't score without the ball, so keeping that ball in your possession, keeping it away from Portsmouth, key aspects of putting together a strong game. You'll see they try to pass the feet or a space to where they think their teammates can be aggressive or assertive, either getting to the corners or making service into the box. Deflected back there on the back line by Stein again. And now Forrester with the ball. That gets cut off by the back line again. That's Morgan Runke making a nice play on the ball. Crowder's service goes in and dribbles into the goalkeeper for Portsmouth. Sophia Rinaldi, I believe, is back there in goal for the Clippers. Good connections there, but Araceli Cloutier is there to pass back to Santos, who clears it up to her offensive half. I believe they were offside there. Morris was in behind the defenders, second last defender. Tough spot, though, because that service was coming from her goalkeeper. She probably didn't expect it to actually get that deep to the striker position. And now Grace Crowder makes a nice service for a ball to run onto. Back to Crowder. Serves over to Forrester. Now to the left, the volley comes in unthreateningly to Rinaldi.
It was a nice pass over from Lana Morris, effective, got it to her man in space, and unfortunately just couldn't bring it home.
So Olivia Matthews tries to service out wide side, can't be handled there. So we'll have a Portsmouth Clippers throw in here on the near side. Some substitutions are made for the visiting Clippers. Matthews settles. Serves it up to Morris. Flick on, nobody to run on it. Forrester applying pressure. Makes the Clippers go back, and Morris intercepts. Deep in the far corner, Neve Humphrey. Served into the box here nicely. But the Clippers defend well. And they're out on the break. On the counterattack is Annie Parker. Crowder with pressure. And that comes harmlessly to Forrester, who's going to get back into the offensive end. Ooh, almost a through ball there. Couldn't quite get around the defender. But the Bulldogs get possession back on a deflected pass from the Clippers. Missing the link there. Scoreless here after the first 10 minutes of play. 0-0, as they say in soccer terms, Lauren.
I know that's complicated.
0.
I am frequently corrected by my neighbor Sean Diaz, who is soccer guy, when I say nothing and the word nil is conspicuous as it is used.
Great defensive play there as Araceli Cloutier shielded off the ball, served it back to Zoe Santos.
Literally off the back of the Portsmouth Clipper there.
Tara Neftali up quickly to Morris. Morris out wide. And now again, that back line with confidence will look to distribute. Near side to Ava Dubois.
Nice job fighting for that one by Ava. And Neve Humphrey knocks it off of Annie Parker, and it'll be Bedford throw from about the 35-yard line.
First and 10?
Second and 10.
Oh, second, okay.
Yep.
So it was
They
incomplete.
maintained possession, yes. There was no change of possession on that one.
Good
So-
throw there by Humphrey as they look to put some pressure here on the Clipper defense. A lot of this play early on has been on the Clippers' side of the 50-yard line here.
I mean, this is an effective way. It's like 3 yards in a cloud of dust. You just keep moving the ball down the field, and eventually you wind up in good possession. You get a good shot. For the Bulldogs, they're averaging just shy of 3.5 goals a game this year. The high water mark, 8 against Keene. And for the Clippers of Portsmouth, they're averaging about a goal less than that, 2 1/3. So Portsmouth's game has been, we hang in the defensive end, control the ball in the middle of the field, take the chances where we get them. For Bedford, they are more of an offensive team. They have the luxury of having an all-state goalie and Zoe Santos back there. So more often than not, at least what I've seen from the Bulldogs, is more offense, more of a push for breaks and trying to get somebody in space, get a goal.
And that's honestly what we saw in the JV game, was that the JV Bulldogs team was heavily on the offensive side of the field. And the goal from Portsmouth was a nice counter strike as they got out quickly and were able to get in behind the Bedford back line. So we see that reflected on both levels here.
I'm curious to see it, though, because you have a team that is, in Bedford, a team that is an offensive team that wants to control the ball in the offensive end, going against a team that's going to, I guess in the parlance of football, pack the box. So it's you give me one side will give their best on offense, but they're going up against a really tough D.
Sure. Looks to be similar formations between the two, 4 across the back.
Yeah, it's been interesting to watch that as non-soccer guy here in the booth, that Portsmouth culturally seems to be very consistent between JV and varsity.
Yeah, that's important as you're developing any program throughout the high school level, is to have that consistency across those levels. And I'm sure JV and varsity coaches are on the same page, likely even practice together and groom the players to understand systems on both sides.
Lana Morris doing everything she could to maintain possession. Did a great job. Now Ava with it against the line. Had a shot, and it's going to trickle out harmlessly along the goal line, and that'll be a goal kick for Portsmouth.
That was a nice first touch by Ava Dubois too. She got that angle on her defender, was able to sneak by, got the shoulder under, and then had a strike on the ball. A little off the cage. I'm not sure if she was going for the goal or if she was looking for a pass on the back post, but either way, it was a good offensive chance.
She is another tough one. You talk about players on that front line who are tenacious. Lana, very tenacious. Ava will fight after every loose ball. Certainly makes it a lot of fun to watch when you know the players are giving everything they have every play.
Multi-sport athlete, of course, one of the key members of the basketball team as well. Shot here by Crowder is wide left. But Dubois, you've seen multiple games throughout her career, making the tough, hard-nosed plays.
And this is another thing culturally that we saw in the JV game. The keeper has the ball dead center, chooses one of the defenders rather than just taking the kick on the side, or takes it from dead center.
In this case, she's found her striker on the left side, but a nice toe touch there by Cloutier puts the ball into touch.
Yes. Not out of bounds.
You've
What am I allowed to say anymore?
Well, you've been watching a little bit of Ted Lasso now, haven't you?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. I
would like to, though. I'm a big Jason Sudeikis fan.
Entertaining series.
From what I've heard.
Yeah.
I just enjoyed him greatly on SNL and We're the Millers. So, a good movie if you have not watched it. Not appropriate to discuss on air, but I will put it on the list of recommendations.
Okay. Deep ball there. It's going to sail out of bounds or into touch.
I thought we decided that was the Hall & Oates song. It was "You're Out of Touch, I'm Out of Time." Ooh, boy.
That's
a little aggressive there for number 13. You're an aggressive woman.
Listen, physical play.
I know.
You know, if the refs are going to let you get away with it, that's fine. Might as well use your body and be strong. It's a deflection, I believe, off of Taryn Neftali. Yeah, so that's going to be a white throw deep along the far sideline as the Clippers move the center of play into the Bulldogs' half now.
Another interesting note, if you look at the rosters of these two teams, and Bedford this year does not have a reserve team or a JV or a freshman team, as it were. They have a junior varsity team and a varsity team. Bedford's JV team is young and has shown a lot of promise this year. Portsmouth's JV team, unless they have a freshman team, is pretty much devoid of freshmen. So it does not appear there are a whole ton of freshmen in their program.
Makes it a challenge as they're building their program, having talent across all levels of play.
Unless it's just not listed on the roster, which is entirely possible.
That could be too.
And my ignorance is showing.
We also look at the size of the rosters too, as Portsmouth has probably 10 or 12 substitutions over there on the bench, whereas Bedford has 4 standing on the sideline, keeping their roster purposefully small.
Yeah, when Portsmouth made their substitutions moments ago, it wasn't subs, it was more of a line change.
Yeah, 5 substitute players came in that last change. Nice ball here. Not quite deep enough, though. So scoreless halfway through the first half. Again, 2 solid defensive teams have seen play dictated throughout the midfield as we anticipated at the start. That ball will stay with Morris making a play, but it does glance just over the sideline, so the Clippers will have a throw in here right in front of the camera. Matthews did nice to bring that down. Humphreys steps to the ball aggressively, but gets deflected. And now Neftali challenges. Ball on the far side to Ophelia Suddy. Crowder challenges, but not quite enough, and now the ball gets deep to the left. And Lana Morris steps aggressively. The ball somehow stays in.
I did like that physical play of Crowder a little bit ago, just fighting for the ball, getting it up to Morris, and it's now paying dividends moments later.
Morris looks to Du Bois, little 1-2 there. Couldn't quite complete it with several Clipper defenders right in the middle. Now Forrester's pass is kicked away deep to the right-hand side. Clippers pursue, but that ball will go out of bounds for a Bedford throw. So solid action here. Physical play, both sides.
And it's bizarre to look at this game and compare it to the JV game and say stylistically they're very similar, but they are.
I wouldn't say either team has had really any significant chances so far. A couple of balls have floated into each goalkeeper, but nothing really threatening.
Bedford had a couple corner kicks early on as well and wasn't able to make anything out of either of those.
So neither goalkeeper has really been tested.
Still sticking by my earlier call that I'm taking the under, whatever it is.
You're thinking a 1-0 final, aren't you?
Based on what I've seen at this point in the game, I wouldn't be surprised to get through 80 minutes scoreless and then have a potential at a golden goal somewhere along the line.
Great turn by Crowder here. And her ball's going to be a little bit long. But she did well back at her own end, shielding the player away, turning, getting back into the offensive end. Well, this is a dangerous ball deep in the right corner, but Stein passes back to Santos nicely.
Zoe is definitely not tentative back there in goal, not afraid to come out and make a play and clear the ball when she needs to as well.
Now, deep ball served into the box, but that will go wide. So Santos will have a goal kick. Yes, her aggressive nature is probably ingrained, hereditary. Father, a college football player, her brother, football player on his own right.
I did not know that John was a college football player. I've seen him play football on the basketball court.
Strong player, quick, physical.
Yes,
And
yes, that is what I was alluding to.
Brings that level of aggressiveness to his athletic endeavors. So Zoe has inherited that nicely in her goalkeeper role. Nice interception here. Step to the ball well from the Clipper defender, the left back, number 18, Morgan Runke. That threat goes out of bounds, but the Clippers will have the throw.
And Runke, a freshman in there, basically jumping the route on that one, and basically the soccer equivalent of a pick six is what she had.
Well, I would say a nice return.
Without getting to the end zone.
Oh, trouble here. Save. Oh, that ball bounced into that 6-yard box area, and Santos couldn't quite get the hand on it well enough to deflect it wide, and the Clippers come away with a goal.
Bouncing ball, tough spin, and unfortunately Zoe couldn't come away with it, and Bedford has a deficit and finds themselves in very unfamiliar position. And this one, is so similar to that JV game that we were watching earlier where Bedford was controlling the ball in the offensive end. Portsmouth had that one chance, went up 1-0, right around the same time of the half, too.
And it looked like they had a chance to clear it out as one of the defensive players was in the area ready to make a strike on the ball, but unfortunately couldn't quite get there well enough. And trouble here is the ball was floating in on Santos. She didn't want to take a chance and step out and pick it up with her hands. It was right on the edge of the 18-yard box. So she plays it with her feet, and they avoid disaster minutes after Clippers strike for the first tally.
A little bit of miscommunication in there is what it looked like from the defensive player. And fortunately for Bedford, it didn't lead to anything other than a possession for Portsmouth.
The Clippers go wide, but the Bulldogs step in. Tough touches there. They do get it wide left, but the defense in white is able to corral it. Back to the midfield. Cloutier calmly to Stein. Stein up the left side to Neftali. A little too strong, and that's served back into the right wing for the Clippers. Stella Bolduc, who I'm told got the tally there as well on the Clippers' goal. We'll have a line change again as 5 Clippers come in to substitute. 14 minutes to go here in the first half. It is 1-0. The visiting Clipper squad from Portsmouth is up on a goal just about 3 minutes ago. Here's another chance, and that goes off the crossbar. Santos punches out. The defense gets in there and is able to clear, but an excellent opportunity there by Molly McCafferty as her attempt glances off the crossbar, and Santos got some help from her friend there.
Yeah, that one was a little too close for comfort. Portsmouth with another great opportunity at the goal and just it looked like it hit underneath the top bar, and fortunately for Bedford, didn't go down, wound up going out.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if Santos got a hand on that either, as she was there. Hands were up. If she did get a touch on that, it's an excellent save. If it was just a skosh too high beyond her reach and off the crossbar, either way, she did fairly well to not have another goal scored on her.
Yeah, the tough thing out of that one is the ricochet that comes out of that. You have to have eyes in the back of your head to figure out where that next shot is going to be coming from. And fortunately for Bedford, there wasn't really a next shot. There was a scrum in the box for the ball, and no goal was scored. Portsmouth again challenging. Bedford dribbling back into their defensive end, and they need to marshal a little bit of a threat on offense. Portsmouth again with another shot. This is going to be a tough one. Neve Humphrey engaged in a foot race with Portsmouth and somehow manages to knock the ball out of bounds. What word were we using?
Into touch.
Into touch. I don't get how that works.
That's McCafferty again putting pressure on Humphrey. We do have some more substitutions here for the Clippers. They changed some folks around, but yeah, we're seeing a lot of pressure by the Portsmouth Clippers here in the second part of the first half. Bulldogs making some uncharacteristic mistakes, losing possession of the ball in critical areas. They will get a throw here as it deflected off of the Clipper player. But they're going to need to make some adjustments here in the last 10 minutes of the first half and likely into the second.
I will say this too, and again, this is a program thing, it's a cultural thing, but what we saw out of Portsmouth was very aggressive soccer, and this varsity team has that same brand of soccer. They are playing with some very controlled aggression here.
Sure, and that physical approach is a great way to do it when you can balance that fine line of playing physical but not being called for fouls. True in any sport, and particularly here on the pitch. It's another soccer term for you, Lauren. Pitch.
That's the field.
Pitch, yeah, field.
I sound very inauthentic if I use those words, so I just don't use them. I know the words.
You might have to do it with a British accent, too.
No,
I mean, it makes it
that
sound a
sounds even
little
worse.
bit better.
I sound like Sean Connery on SNL.
I'll get you, Trebek. So 10 minutes to go here. The Clippers still hold a 1-0 lead.
Oh, boy.
Again, some more physical play, and that challenge is not called. Probably a good no call there, as neither team had an advantage. Both players going aggressively to the ball, but no real foul.
Kate Michael doing a nice job to fight after that one.
Go around the horn on the back edge here, over to Stein. We'll look for a deep ball, or maybe not. She'll chip off to the defensive back wing there. Taryn Neftali. They play a little catch in between the two of them.
Yep.
Finally goes out of bounds. We'll have a Bedford throw. Decent crowd here tonight. Stands aren't necessarily full, but they're not empty. Great night to be out. Beautiful evening weather-wise.
And I think it's fireworks night after the game. I don't know if you knew that.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's big day.
Atlas Fireworks is in town?
I'm joking.
No, I gotcha.
I know. I just didn't want
That's
somebody
fantastic.
watching TV to drive down here and think there were fireworks.
We should go see. We do have an aggressive move to the goal there by Kate Michael, and she will be called. One of very few whistles in this first half, I have to say. The refs are letting the girls play, which I like to see.
I like to see that. I think it does benefit Portsmouth in their physical style of play. Absolutely.
Cloutier will chase that one back. Kick it back out of bounds. The moon is staring at us from across the way above the field. A waxing half moon. Looks gorgeous
You're right,
in the
it is
sky over
waxing.
there.
I had to think about that for a second.
My dad's into astronomy. I better know that kind of stuff.
Yes. Astrology or astronomy? Or both? I mean, ooh, does he have horoscopes too?
No, he
Okay.
couldn't care less about that kind of stuff. Missed pass there in the middle, so the Clippers will throw it in again. Volleyed out nicely by Humphrey, and Du Bois will come onto the ball. Tough first touch there, a little heavy, and that goes right into the back line. And it's served up well for their offensive line here. Santos stumbled as she was coming out, and the Clippers capitalize as Annie Parker will score the second on the evening for the Clippers, and they go up 2-0.
You hit that one right on the head. There's got to be nothing worse if you're a keeper than you're going out to challenge the play, and all of a sudden you trip in a gopher hole, and down you go. And Annie Parker, once she had beat Zoe off the dribble, had nothing but open net for her, and winds up putting Portsmouth up 2-0. And this is going to be a tough road to hoe for Bedford now, simply because Portsmouth, as we mentioned earlier, has allowed 8 goals in the 12 games, 2/3 of a goal per game, and it's going to be tough to come back against these guys with the defensive prowess, not to mention the fact that they can now pack it on the defensive end.
Sure, absolutely. They could take more defensive stance here. Pack 8 players in, right? They could change their formation depending on how aggressive or defensive they want to be. But certainly a formation change might be in order. Or they might be very comfortable doing what they're doing, as they have, to this point, played quite well against the talented Bedford team. So 2-0 lead here with just under 7 minutes to go here in the first half. Coach Winning might have to make a couple of strategy adjustments at halftime too, perhaps putting a couple more players forward in the offensive end. Nicely played here by Cloutier as she avoids the challenge by the Clippers. Looked like a handball, and that will get called.
Yeah, that was just unlucky where it came right off of Ava's foot right into the hand. And I wanted to acknowledge the fact that Nick Stavropoulos apparently actually left a CrossFit gym to come to a soccer game, so there's that.
He's always very supportive of his daughter, Anna,
Yep.
though. I have to appreciate his fatherly instinct showing up and supporting.
And ladies and gentlemen, Nick is down just to our left a little bit. He's not signing autographs, though, so please respect his privacy.
He might even have a little bit of a costume ready for his Halloween outfit later this month. Trying to stay incognito.
Does he need a costume?
Oh. Nicely played there by the Clippers. The Bulldogs were moving forward, looking for opportunities, but that was foiled. A deep ball here by the Clippers now will be harmlessly corralled by Santos.
We have an update on the boys' varsity game over in Portsmouth. That one tied 1-1 as of the current moment. Thank you to Amy Diaz for providing me a score.
That was expected to be a solid team over there, with the Clippers being a perennially solid team. Tough kick there. Wow. Kudos to that player for the Clippers. Number 15, Sally Collins, took that ball right off the face. She was dazzled there a little bit. She is getting substituted out, but it looked like she was ready to shake it off and keep playing.
And to his credit, the official took the time to check in with her, and yeah, she caught that one square.
Good to see that she seems to be in good shape. Giving high fives to her coaches. They check on her, but she seems to be fine. Yeah, coach, I'm good. Leave me alone. Humphrey will throw it in for the Bulldogs. Crowder looks to switch fields.
And for the Bulldogs here, with about 4 minutes left in the first half, what you're really looking for is a way that you can cut into that lead before halftime. This is analogous to in a football game, all right, you might be down 21. If you can get the one and then you got the kickoff to start the second half, you got a shot. This is similar.
More so for momentum reasons, right? You know,
absolutely.
Able to poke one in here, whether it's a beautiful play or a garbage goal, you don't really care. It's just more about getting a tally on the board before you head into halftime.
You and I have done enough basketball games over the years where I seem to remember a BG game where there was a throwaway 3 at the end of the first half. And I think we looked at each other and said, we might need that later. And sure enough, came down to the wire and BG won on a last-second bucket.
Sure.
So it might not seem like much at that current state, but it's not something you want to give up.
Clippers there again challenging, winning the ball and getting into the offensive end. Good step here by Neve Humphrey. And then again by Cloutier. Deep ball by Crowder. Looking for Morris. She's putting pressure on the back line again, and they'll earn the throw in. So deep throw in here. Let's see if they can make this count, at least for an opportunity. Hopefully they can poke one into a corner. Yeah, see the formation right here. They have 8 players all within the 18-yard box, or at least that level across the field. Shows the defensive nature of the Clippers squad.
And they've packed everybody back there right now because they have the luxury of a 2-0 lead. They don't have to play in the offensive end at all. But if you're Bedford, you got to find a way to penetrate that.
And with the speed that the Clippers have shown in the offensive end, they're able to counter-strike effectively. Looking for those long ball chips up and over the defense and then run onto it, as you're seeing here again. Ooh.
Oh boy.
Santos misplays, but is able to get back to prevent any further damage.
That whole thing was set up by an aggressive gambling steal by one of the Portland strikers who had or Portsmouth strikers who had just gotten in the line of a ball and gambled on one.
2 uncharacteristic plays by Santos there. The stumble on the second goal, and then that one there just took her eye off the ball. Seen as one of the best goalies in the state. She and her team find themselves down 2-0 to the visiting Clippers, looking for some kind of spark on the offensive end here. Thus far, they have not really threatened the Portsmouth defense or the goalkeeper. Good step here by Cloutier. Challenges that ball.
It was Kelsey Flint who was listed as an attacking midfielder, and if there was ever a position that was aptly named for the previous play, I would say Kelsey Flint is very obviously an attacking midfielder.
Lives up to her position name, huh?
Oh, boy. When they told her to be that, she took it seriously.
Now Lana Morris looks to distribute. Back to Abby Forrester. Misses a link there. But Stein serves it back up.
Great job there by Lana knowing where Abby was going to be, and unfortunately they just couldn't get the offense set.
Stein will see that one out of bounds. Under 2 minutes to play here in the first half. 2-0 Clippers. Sorry, 2-0, Lauren. 2-0.
Yes, nil.
It's nil.
Where did that come from?
I believe it's a British term for 0.
Oh, thanks.
British.
Yep.
British. There it is. And there's the halftime whistle. We will take a quick break here during halftime. We'll send it back to the studios. Quick shout out, of course, to the BCTV team. We appreciate them broadcasting this game tonight here at Bedford High School Stadium. The Clippers lead 2-0 at halftime. We'll join you for second half action in just a moment. Tonight's girls varsity soccer team taking on the visiting Portsmouth Clippers. 2-0 after the first half. And the Bulldogs had a couple of missteps there early in the first half, and then later on in the first half, almost 3-0 as we saw another error late in the half, but the score stays at 2-0, and we'll have to see what kinds of adjustments Coach Winning has made in her halftime speech, whether it's aggressive play, whether it's a formation change, whether it's a further attacking approach in how they move the ball around, but they need to make some kind of change in order to cut into this lead. I'm joined here again by Lauren Fox for the second half action. Appreciate having you in the booth here, sir.
It is good to be here, and I'm truly captive because I don't have a car.
So you can't leave.
No, I can't leave.
That's perfect.
No, it's good.
And I'm the beneficiary.
Absolutely. This is fun. And we now have a running clock, too, so there's that.
So, Lauren, the first half, we saw some physical play. We saw some deep balls and speed on the front line for the Clippers. We didn't really see too many opportunities for the Bulldogs on the cage as the goalie for the Clippers touched the ball a few times on a ball or two back to her, but wasn't really challenged from a save perspective.
No, not at all. And as somebody who is admittedly a novice when it comes to soccer, I was impressed with the fact that Portsmouth really committed to playing a defensive game, but was gambling from time to time to set up the offense. And the players on their defense, or the sort of defensive midfielders, were biding their time until they realized that there was an opportunity, and then they committed to it. That was where they got both of their goals, was basically just flipping the field. And so they're really in that defensive set, and it paid off for them in the early going.
It sure did. It paid off for them in the early going and then late in the half. With only 7.5 minutes to go in this first half, the second goal came. That one from Annie Parker. The first was from Stella Baldock. That was with about 16 minutes to go in the first half. So both well into the first half and have set the Bulldogs back here in a decent deficit. Not insurmountable, I must say, but certainly a challenging one.
Absolutely.
Bulldogs get the benefit of the call here. So Kylie Morris throws in. Grace Crowder comes onto the ball, but again, a rather harmless play by Sophia Ranalli. I'm assuming that's Sophia Ranalli. She's the only goalkeeper listed on the roster.
Right,
so
that was the assumption that I was going to make as well.
I'm hoping that is her name back there in goal. Nicely played away from a potential threat there. But we have seen the speed of the Clippers, especially on the front line, really causing problems for this experienced Bedford defense. Long ball here, whether it's out to the wing or through the middle, the Clippers have been able to capitalize on speed from their strikers. They will get a corner here. Nice service into the box, tipped away by Zoe Santos, and goal lessens that threat, but they still are deep in the territory. That is offside, but
yeah, that was strange.
The player who was offside wasn't necessarily involved in that play, so could have been a judgment call of the official to not call it. Either way, the Bulldogs escape. Ava Dubois does nicely to shear the ball off and gets a call on that far sideline, push in the back, so Bulldogs will have a free kick. And as we talked about a bit in the first half, Sari Stein has an absolute cannon with that left foot, so this is not necessarily a harmless ball in this position here. She may be looking for the goal or looking for an assist, and that ball is on goal, but easily played by Ranalli back there in the center of her cage.
Nice play by the keeper. That one kicked by Stein about 40 yards. And again, I wouldn't have wanted to be the one-person wall standing in front of it, getting ready to wear it in the teeth.
Strong leg. Might be a good option as a kicker on the football squad, although they have a good kicker in their own right.
Who is the kicker on the football team this year?
Joe Michael, do-it-all man.
Joe is doing everything.
Yeah, he punts, he kicks, he plays quarterback.
He's like George Blanda.
Of course, brother of Kate Michael
Except
here
much
on the girls varsity team here for the soccer squad. That ball balances on the line and finally goes out of bounds, so the Clippers will have a throw in.
It was interesting, though. Before that ball was blown dead, the Portsmouth player had picked it up and was getting ready to make a throw.
I think she was assuming the call was going her way, rightly so. Morris steps in, takes a couple shoves in the back, but is able to corral it. Back line calmly plays it forward for the Clippers. There's Maggie Parker in the mix there. Ball deflects out there on the right sideline, so Humphrey will throw it in. Crowder shields away. Not quite true contact there. And another threat here. Santos off her line, way off her line. Out of the box by about 12 yards. And smartly plays that without using her hands. Clippers players thought she might have touched it with her gloved hand, but the referee disagreed with her.
I'm going to say, though, Corey, I think I agree with them. I think that might have gotten her mittens.
Well, and again, they've talked a lot about handballs recently in the soccer space as whether or not it's a natural position of your hand and whether or not it gets called. If it's you're protecting yourself from a ball, then there are frequent times where they do not call a handball. That one, I'm not sure if it would have been called either way.
It caught her kind of right in the breadbasket, which when you're running isn't typical position. It's more of a protective, but it's very hard in the same way that it's hard if you're a pitcher and there's a ball hit back to you. It's hard to not throw out of a full windup and compose yourself and throw it to first base like you're a fielder. Same thing I have to imagine be the case for a goalkeeper.
And that could have been one of the adjustments that Coach Winning was talking about, especially with Santos from her goalkeeper position with those long balls, probably encouraging her to come way off of her line and make those defensive plays, as she was a little bit slower to do that in the first half. Nice service here back for Forrester. Strikes, but it goes wide left. Great opportunity there developed out of the right wing.
I don't know which one of the midfielders made that pass to Lana. Lana did a lot of work to go run under it and make the play. And unfortunately for Bedford, nobody else had really followed along that play. And because it hadn't developed, you had Forrester getting that good shot, but probably a little bit farther out than I think they would have liked.
You frequently see that trail player, though, with a lot of open space, a lot of open field. And they can frequently take advantage of that with a strong strike on the cage. She will get called for a foul here on a seemingly harmless trip, but it was a trip, and it will get called. So the Clippers will restart. So 10 minutes here, just about, in the second half. The Clippers still lead 2-0. Deep ball played. Handled well. And they get it back up to Lana Morris from her striker position, trying to distribute to the midfield and get some threats going. Ball played wide and out of bounds.
And so far in the second half, the threats have been few and far between, with Bedford chasing two at this point. Truly, your best case scenario is to find your way back to a tie.
Certainly they need to have at least an opportunity to make a threat, right? If they get that one goal somewhat early in the in the second half, the first little bit of the second half, it makes it a more intense game throughout. But if this 2-goal lead stands for much more, you're right. The best they could hope for is probably a tie.
Portsmouth has allowed 2 goals twice this year. 2 to BG in their loss, 2 to Wyndham in a 3-2 win. That's the only time they've given up 2. They haven't given up more than 2 at any point this season.
Strong play there by Kylie Morris. as she was attempting to stay on the ball. Got fouled finally, and well, probably several times, but it was finally called. So Stein will look to serve into a threatening spot. She took a little bit off. Play is onside. Crowder's going to have a goal here on a head. Heads up play, literally and figuratively, as Crowder stayed onto it, played it off of one bounce. It looked like the Clippers D was trying to play the offsides trap, but they were all onside at the time of the ball strike. And Crowder comes away with that goal they're looking for somewhat early in the second half.
And if you're Bedford, like we talked about earlier, at this point it doesn't have to be a thing of beauty. All that matters is you get one into the back of the net. You still have about half an hour left. There's 29-27 remaining in the game. And for the Bulldogs, now it's 1 to tie, 2 to take a lead. And Portsmouth trying to catch Bedford offside. That'll be
it's a veteran move right
it's
there.
Encroachment, yes, 5 yards.
Doesn't really make too much of a difference. Strong challenge there. Ooh, I think I heard a whistle.
There was a whistle there. It was two players challenging the ball. One basically stole the ball, and the other one tripped over it, and they called a penalty. Kind of a strange one.
Strongly disagree with that call, as the defender came out, made perfect contact with the ball, and yes, their legs got tangled, and the player from the Clippers squad made a bit of a tumble, but it did not look like a foul to me.
Absolutely not. It was all ball.
Excellent defensive play there.
A basketball metaphor in.
Crowder looks to get it up to Morris, but stepped nicely. That ball was offside, and they will call it. Clipper striker a little bit slow to get back in front of the defense.
An update for you coming from the boys game. The boys over in Portsmouth lead 2-1 now over the Clippers.
Wow.
Again, a thank you to Amy Diaz for providing that score.
That's a surprising result, right? Or at least a surprising score tentatively for right now, as they were expecting a very hard game against the Clippers.
Portsmouth, a tough team. They've won 4 this year, but they've been a team that has been on the rise lately. And again, with any of these teams, it doesn't matter how your regular season starts. It matters how the season finishes.
Some scrappy play there by the Clippers midfield. Holding mid was getting in on it. So that goal right there will get the Bedford squad excited. Wow, looked like a two-handed shove over there by the Bedford player.
I think that was Ava. Ava Dubois with a little bit of contact. That's okay, though.
Yeah, a little bit of contact is right. And wow, it looks like she got the call too, which is a bit surprising. It looked like a two-handed shove by Bedford, by Ava Dubois, but somehow the call goes the Bedford way.
She may have initiated it, and the Portsmouth player finished it, and the second man in gets nabbed.
Stein again, a dangerous ball into the box area. Kate Michael, left foot on, but it will trickle harmlessly out of bounds, and a goal kick will come after a quick substitution here by the Clippers.
Nice job by Kate to try to keep that ball alive. It's a tough play, just kind of hugging that goal line, and unfortunately couldn't get around it quite enough to make it cross, get it back to the middle.
Especially a challenging play for a natural right-handed kick on that left side, or off foot. Step there by Abby Forrester will earn a throw. Neftali plays back to Stein. They get in a little bit of trouble with some high pressure. Eve Humphrey comes in, deflects the ball away from trouble, and Crowder tries to tap to Michael, but that will carry him into the defense and then out of bounds. So as you said, about a half an hour for them to earn a second strong opportunity. as they look to equalize here in the second half.
And Bedford playing calculated, but they're playing a little bit more aggressive than we saw them play in the first half as well.
No real position change to note. Formation still looks similar. Although Neve Humphrey, the right back, serves it into the box. Some tense moments here for the Clippers. Wow, looked like it might have been offside there by Lana Morris as she was a little bit slow to get back on, but again, Rinaldi was able to pick that ball up without too much of a concern. As the game becomes a little bit more tense, it's a 1-goal deficit. You might start to hear some of the fans on both sides of the coin here getting a little irritated either with the play itself or with the referees and the calls going their way or not going their way. Always entertaining. Certainly the parents are excited to support their kids. A lot of energy into having it go their way, and they want to see their kids succeed.
Bedford is now peppering Rinaldi, the Portsmouth goalie, I think in hopes that eventually she'll make an unforced error and somebody can follow.
She has been rather sure-handed back there when the ball has trickled in. So Humphrey getting forward here. That ball does go out of bounds, though. So we've seen a little bit more aggressive and offensive stance by the outside backs, both right and left. Taryn Neftali using her speed along the left side here, and Neve Humphrey getting forward and trying to serve her attacking mid and striker along the right side. That service will carry him out of bounds, though. Crowder with some nifty footwork, gets away from pressure. And then gets a ball back from Forrester. Still challenges the ball.
Wow.
Gets tugged.
I was going to say her jersey's getting pulled in the mix there.
Yeah. You know, got to be tough. Those arms are flailing. A couple elbows flailing. Some grabs, some pulls, but if it's not going to get called, you might as well play through it and do it back, right?
It seemed like if that Grace Crowder was just finding a way through that with the ball and was somehow managing to stay through all that contact with the ball. As
speaking of contact,
yep. Lana Morris stitches and all contact at the 25-yard line.
Again, I appreciate that. She's coming back to challenge the ball. She's hoping to make that a tough play on that back line, looking for that pressure to create a mistake that they can capitalize on. Now there's the other side of that coin too. The physical play, you want to make sure it's all within the boundaries of what is legal and what is not, and what the officials will let you get away with. Of course, you want to play strong and physical and aggressive, but you don't want people to get hurt out here. So that's a tough line that the referees need to balance.
Now, I do appreciate that they've let them play, and you mentioned this much earlier in the game too.
Good ball. Ava Dubois. Good challenge there. Ball's still loose.
Somebody
comes back to Forrester, and she's got a goal. There's the equalizer. Scramble in front of the net. Rinaldi couldn't quite handle it. The ball was served out beautifully to the top of the box, and Abby Forrester was there to cash. And there's the equalizer just about halfway through the second half.
And that whole thing was started up by the initial shot from Ava. Rinaldi couldn't come up with it, knocked it toward the end line, and Bedford managed to keep the ball alive, and Rinaldi didn't get to her foot. The ball popped out. Bedford looked like they might have had a shot. Instead, served it up to about the 18, and it was knocked in right there. Who'd you say wound up
Abby
getting it?
Forrester.
Abby Forrester.
Number 9, the
knotting
senior.
Things up at 2 apiece, and 21 minutes left. We got ourselves a ball game.
So the senior captain comes through in a tough position, shows some perseverance for her team, and is willing them back in this game. She's made some fantastic physical plays at the midfield throughout the contest so far, and is able to capitalize there on a beautiful ball played back to her. I believe it was Morris that had the assist from deep inside the 6-yard box, nearly on the end line, and is able to capitalize on that beautiful ball out front. Renali looked like she might have had a chance at it too, right? It was a low ball, somewhat close to her, but I think she was scrambling in position, trying to get back into the center of the goal, and it would have been an outstanding save had she made it, but she is unable to, and we have a tie ball game. 2-2, 20 minutes to go in what we expected to be a closely fought match here.
And we've certainly gotten that. I mean, this one's tied 2-2 after Portsmouth scored their first goal about 15 minutes in and then added another one later on in the first half. And it looked like they were just going to run away with it, and they had changed their strategy a little bit where they were packing everybody in the box. And now I think we're going to see a little bit more gambling in the remaining 19 and a half minutes of this one.
Sure, and that changes the strategy. About 5, maybe 7 minutes ago, before the first goal by the Bulldogs, we were talking about, playing back and being potentially content with a tie. Well, now they've tied it, and they have 20 minutes to go. So you're going to look for strong play both sides. We'll have a foul called here by Naftali. Free clip for the Clippers. Free kick for the Clippers.
Free clip for the kickers. That too.
Yeah, and you're right. We might see chances both sides. Certainly the physical play will continue. Bedford's defense has made some adjustments too, and how they're playing the long ball. Being physical on the players as well as stepping to the ball. Here, Lana Morris does well to corral that, making an offensive threat. Ava Dubois is shielded off. Again, in a strong physical play there by the left back. Can't see a number from here. But it will be out of bounds and a goal kick for the Clippers.
That was the essence of just letting them play.
Sure.
Almost too far, but regardless, Ava may have been mugged on the far side. And the thing that you have to be careful with if you're officiating a game like this, we talked about the injury, but we also talked about a player doesn't know where the line is. You let it go a little bit too far, and you always hate when a game like this is decided on the whistle of an official.
Sure. Absolutely, and you have to trust them to be making the right call as that service for Forrester goes a little bit too strong. You look for them, as in the officials, to make the right call at the right time.
That one, a really lucky bounce for Bedford. It got away from Portsmouth. Ava will chase it down to the corner. It'll be a Bedford throw over on the far side.
And the Bulldogs are threatening again as the center of play has slowly but surely inched towards the Clippers' goal. That will be a goal kick, though.
It is, yes. I was hoping corner based on what I was seeing, and I think Bedford was too. And now it will be the Clippers on a goal kick.
We did see left center back Sari Stein running up as she anticipated a corner, but it is not a corner.
Bedford, another opportunity.
Good ball here. Dubois getting in deep, creating some havoc there, but it is cleared out nicely by the Clippers, and now they're on the counterattack. Good step. Great step there by Cloutier off her back line. It was good hustle there by Forrester to get back into that play too. Defensive plays all over the place. Again, there was solid body contact, but no call, and I appreciate the no call. It was two players aggressively getting after the ball, shoulder to shoulder, nothing really fouling on either side, just good hard play.
That hasn't been a foul the whole game, and no reason that it should have been there. It was a 50-50 ball.
Referee is now speaking to one of the Portsmouth Clippers players. Perhaps they were getting a little lippy. As I don't believe that was the player involved in that shoulder-to-shoulder collision there. So, must have been something other than the actual play. And in that case, I'm assuming that it was conduct versus anything else.
Taunting. 15 yards.
Matthews brings that ball down, but her service goes a bit wide and strong. Cloutier's there to clear it out.
Oops.
Ooh, misplayed by the Clipper defense, but covered. Stein, good first touch to get out to herself, but her service goes wide.
I was going to say, that was a little bit aggressive.
I think they're actually waiting for the
They were waiting
five-person
for the
substitution.
Subs, but man,
yeah.
she's going to start here then and move another 10 yards up. Watch. That ball went out between the E and the N and seniors. So that's what? I don't know, a solid 10 yards in front of where it is.
And she's going
to run it up
right?
even further.
Yeah.
Here's 1, 2, 3. So that was a 15-yard shift. Simply, I mean, that's the soccer equivalent of, I didn't like where the play ended. I'm going to pick up the football and move it.
Yeah.
13 yards, man.
Personal foul
That's highway
penalty
robbery.
right there, right? Clippers now into an offensive challenge here. And a great step by Cloutier along that back line. And her service is going to be a little bit too strong. Although they are looking for that speed. Again, Lana Morris on the top, trying to cause some problems for the Clippers.
I mean, Lana's like a Prius down there. She's getting about 60 miles a gallon, except she's got probably a higher top end than a Prius does.
I would think so. That's what I was thinking of myself.
Right. It's just like this unlimited gas mileage. Yeah, she just accelerates a little bit faster than those do.
Maybe a little Gatorade at halftime for her
Maybe.
for her spark plug to keep going.
Like, she hasn't stopped, though.
And provided solid pressure throughout the game. Compliments to her for playing that striker position in such a manner that's putting pressure on that back line.
Like, she gets after it.
Good ball here. Sari Stein looking to make some defensive play. Excellent play by Araceli Cloutier. No foul there. She got all ball. The ball did go out of bounds, so it will be a Clippers throw. Annie Parker pleading her case with the referee as she thought she was fouled, and that would have been inside the box for a PK, but again, it looked like a clean play.
That was a big gamble by Cloutier there, because if you are whistled for that one solely on the body contact, it is a PK and you're in deep trouble. But in this case, she managed it, and who knows, she may have thought through what was being whistled and what was not.
And she came over from her right back position to make that challenge all the way on the left side. Ball here is going to sail wide, so Santos will have a goal kick. 2-2. Just over 12 minutes to play here in the second half. And an intense game continues.
And for those who are new to soccer or do not know what the overtime rules are, it is in overtime. It is sudden death. 2 10-minute overtimes. No PKs after those 20 minutes of soccer.
Both teams do have a tie this year on their records. Both, ironically, to Exeter. Stein will earn the throw for the Bulldogs. We do have some more substitutions. The Bulldogs and the Clippers both previously tied to Exeter for their ties, one tie each on their records. And as Lauren was stating at the top of the broadcast, the only blemish for either team is to Bishop Girton, as Portsmouth lost to them earlier this year 2-0.
Nice job by Lana to keep that ball alive, and then down to the far corner and headed out by Portsmouth. It'll be a Bedford corner from the near side.
The Botus challenge there on that back line, again, putting pressure on that team. The ball will carry out of the end line. And so Neve Humphrey will come over for the right-footed in-curving corner kick. Served up now. Beautiful ball to the back post. Headed there, but it's going to go high and wide right as Araceli Cloutier got her head on the ball, but it was not challenging to the cage.
Very soccer-y.
That cage, you know, use cage a lot.
Challenging to the cage.
Yeah.
The service was not challenging
Service,
to the cage.
service. You like that? It's all lingo, Lauren, lingo.
I love it.
Some might be accurate, some not, but this is a challenge, and it's not on cage. As Crowder's ball goes wide left.
That was a cage-free challenge.
Cage-free.
Yep.
Yeah, free range.
Humanely free-range challenge.
But a good strike by Crowder from her right foot, just beyond the 18-yard box. This is trouble here. Neftali has the speed to recover, and she does. Challenged here by Annie Campbell. Neftali gets there, and left foot kicks the ball outside, earning a throw-in for the Clippers, but deftly avoids the corner. Ball served into the box. Again, here is a challenge. Good flick on, but nobody's there on the backside. And it is cleared away by the Bulldogs for now. Defense pulls up, but so do the Clippers' attacking players. Left foot here. Great save by Zoe Santos, ranging to her right on a low ball to the left corner. Showing some range there. Looked like Jeter at shortstop. Comes away with a great save. And that's the first real offensive threat that we've seen from the Clippers here in the second half.
A very engaged Portsmouth fan base, too. Almost telling us what we should be watching for and who we should be watching for.
Good composure there by Olivia Matthews. Holding midfielder, playing back to her back line. Near wholesale substitutions again here for the Clippers as they're keeping some of their key players fresh. Just under 8 minutes to go. 2-2 tie here at Bedford Stadium as two high-ranking varsity teams in New Hampshire in Division I are playing an intense match this evening. Crowder gets onto the ball and sees time and space. Her pass does go wide of the mark, though. Clippers come out.
Seemed like she had a little less time than she thought she had.
You know, she corralled that ball well, trapped it, got it under control, and then her time and space quickly evaporated.
Now all of a sudden Bedford with a good chance down the far side, or down the near side I should say, and they say it'll be Bedford ball, Bedford throw.
Jeez, that looked like it was out off of the Bulldogs.
I agree wholeheartedly.
But Bobotis will throw it in. Service in, but nobody's there on the other end.
See if Forrester can finish. Nope.
Matthews steps, ball goes wide. Two players collided at about the 20-yard line there. It was Matthews and I believe Annie Parker for the Clippers. Sailed through without a touch from either player and then came in on Renali. This ball's a threat here, but Cloutier shows some wheels to get back there and kick it out of bounds to prevent any further pressure. Throw is headed by Matthews. switched fields. A little bit of a shank, but Clippers do well to keep it in and put pressure again. This ball is out to Santos's right. She takes a pretty big hit from the left striker there, and that's going to get called every time. Santos was under it, had her hands up, almost looking to make a fair catch. Again, you have to make sure that those players are able to challenge that ball, but in that case, that physical contact was over the line for the near side official, so he calls that down, and Santos will have what is effectively a goal kick. Ball played deep along the right side, out of bounds. Clippers come back with a throw in. Cloutier plays back to Santos, who slips. Ball still gets out of harm's way. Crowder's pass will be intercepted, though. Just about 5 minutes to play here in the game. The clock will go off on the field as the officials will keep the remainder of the time on the field. And the Bulldogs look to create a strike along the right side here, but do turn it over. And here's the counterattack.
And the attacking midfielder for Portsmouth with the ball, weaving her way in and out in the middle.
Scrappy play there by Olivia Matthews.
Extremely.
What she lacks in height, she makes up for in strength and aggressive play. Turns the ball over, and we see the results as the Bedford Bulldogs go back on the attack. Lana Morris plays out to the right side. Dubois gets challenged there for the time being, but able to get the ball back. Humphrey deep in the right corner, looking to potentially earn a corner, but the defense does nicely to clear it out without such occurrence. Cloutier serves back into the box. Lana Morris tips it. Aggressive. Rinaldi comes out. Ball's still loose, but now she covers. And that's a nice play by the Clipper goalkeeper. Came off her line, challenged the attacking player, deflected it out of harm's way.
And even still with that, she somehow managed to, on the ground, recover and hang on to the ball.
Sure did. Ball deflected back. Defensive end, played back to Santos. She will kick it up and over the front line.
By my extremely unofficial timing, we're right at about 3 minutes to play in this regulation of this game.
Santos again quick off her line and prevents that threat. So still 2-2 on the equalizing goals by Grace Crowder and Abby Forrester here in the second half. To the first half goals of Stella Baldock and Annie Parker for the Clippers. And we are seeing the intensity continue here. As Stella Baldock again on the right-hand side here combines to see what kind of threat they can put together. I'm getting attacked by moths in here. I'm not sure about you, Lauren.
No. It's the deodorant I use.
I think the offender has left the building.
And I actually bathed in bug repellent before I came in here, so.
Maybe that's been helping. Matthews again, great challenge to get back on that ball. Tense situation here, though, as Clippers have people moving forward. Strike is going to go wide left. Somewhat harmlessly and weakly. Santos was not challenged there, but they did have something brewing.
Unofficially, about a minute and a half to go in regulation.
Minute and a half.
Extremely unofficially.
I won't extremely unofficially forecast it too soon, but it looks like we may be headed to overtime. unless either team can put together a strike here, and Lana Morris flicks on. Nobody's there, but Crowder is on the rebound out from the back line. Good physical shield there. Crowder will have a go. A little ambitious. Rinaldi will scoop that up.
I like the try just in case the ball gets away from the keeper. You got a shot. Now Bedford with a steal.
Creating opportunities, Ava Dubois here. Morris, now Crowder. Can't get it to go, deflected. And Babotis can't quite get it on strongly onto the net. So Rinaldi comes away with the ball, but a pretty solid opportunity there.
Nice ball movement across the middle over to Babotis, and just couldn't find it on her foot.
But they do keep it in. Another opportunity here. Matthews up to Crowder. She looks to distribute.
About 15 seconds by my clock. Don't really have any reason that we would go past the 5 minutes.
Well, the officials do have their own discretion on the field. If there is an advantage one way or another, they may let it play out 15, 20, maybe 30 seconds. Probably not much more than that. And there we hear the 3 whistles. We do have the end of regulation here. We will go to overtime. 2-2 here at Bedford High School. We've been treated to an excellent match so far. And I've had the privilege of being joined here by Lauren Fox, consistent BCTV contributor over the years.
I was going to say over the years. I haven't been consistent in doing anything lately. Award-winning, yes.
Award-winning.
Yeah,
of course.
I think only one person applied for that one, though. Yeah, it's kind of sad.
Touted host of Fox on Sports, talking about current events and the sporting world.
You know what's funny? We stopped doing that show because COVID happened, and really, if only we had known, because the conversations that we had in March of last year were, you know, there are no sports going on, and we don't want to talk about controversies and off-field stuff, and so we just kind of said, you know what, we're not going to do the show. And it's really weird. Like, the last day we did the show was the Friday that everything kind of ended. I think it was Friday the 13th,
Friday
2020.
the 13th, March.
Like, where, you know, all right, maybe we'll take a week or two off and then we'll come back. And I don't think any of us quite had any concept, I know Hanson and I didn't, of how truly strange of a place we would be in 19 months later. We are still in a very strange place. So with that being said, you know, it's funny. Do you go to ESPN.com?
Frequently.
Okay. If you look at ESPN.com from years ago and look at what they were talking about on the front page of ESPN.com 15 years ago and look at what we're talking about now, it's like there's far less of fun, frivolous stuff and far more weighty matters.
Yes.
And I don't know. If I was ever going to do Fox on Sports, and I mean I would want to do it with somebody like you, but in which case we need to name it something entirely different. But yeah, Fox and Tiger on Sports. But I would want to make it so that we're not talking about any serious topics.
Of course.
Like,
The lighthearted approach is more like it.
I don't know, man.
The Kenny Mayne, the dry sarcasm. That's what you're looking for,
Oh
right?
my God, Kenny Mayne and Stuart Scott.
We don't need to wade into the issues at hand that some like to frequently talk about and
No, I want to
pontificate.
I want to be mad about Dancing with the Stars because Iman Shumpert got voted off or whatever. I don't even know if he did. Who got voted off?
Listen, that's one I do not wade into. Is
I don't
Dancing
know.
with the Stars.
Cody Rigsby is on. You don't do the Peloton.
No.
Cody Rigsby's the man.
Is he keeping you in shape over the last 18, 19 months?
Yes.
Okay.
He's
Fair
been
enough.
partly responsible for it, but it's, yeah. I don't know, though. I want to know. There were falls on Dancing with the Stars. I really have no idea.
Trips and falls, that might get you a quick vote off.
I just want to know who got voted off. That's all.
You know the entire lineup
I don't know,
now,
man.
apparently.
No, the weird thing is, like, I will sit there because my wife will have it on, of course. Always.
Yeah, my wife, quote, unquote.
And I will sit there and I'll say, I don't know who these people are. And that's kind of the story of my life.
Well, so they've started having social media stars, and of
Right.
course this Peloton guy that you're talking about. If
Right.
you're not a Peloton guy, you have no idea who he is.
Correct. But Peloton, the people who ride those ridiculous bikes and go nowhere, we all, like, I had never voted ever, and I voted for him. So, apparently it worked. But it's, yeah.
Well, I do find it amazing that it has caught on so well. Of course, the exercise angle of it, but the social aspect of it too, people have found incredibly motivating as they're in the actual workout, but also the groups that are established around them. I do not do it myself, but I have heard from several friends that they do find it incredibly motivating.
There was actually one day where it told me a friend is doing a workout, and I looked to see which friend, and it was a mutual friend of ours, Andrew Spector. Was doing a workout, and the next thing I know, we're like texting each other back and forth while we're doing the workout, competing with each other.
There you go.
And we weren't in sync. Like, I was a couple minutes behind him, and as you know, if you're the person who's finishing later and you can beat the other guy, like, he doesn't know what my number is going to be, but I know what his number is going to be, and so I'm going to do whatever it takes to beat him. But you just have that fun element of competition, and I don't know. It's interesting.
Well, that's when you break into your all-out sprint to see if you can beat his time, right?
Yes.
No matter if it's what is it, the peak in the French Alps that you're trying to L'Alpe d'Huez and
there you go.
The last 100 meters.
No, like yelling at my wife, "Can you get the defibrillator out? This one might be close."
And here we are, ready to start
Bill
overtime.
Jennings, Bill would know, the Ralph Cramden. Alice.
Oh, yeah.
What's he say?
To the moon!
No, what's he say? He's having some kind of heart issue. What's the line that I'm missing? That's right. It is.
Man.
Wrong sitcom entirely. Sanford and Son. What was his? It's a big one. There you go.
With the assist from Bill Jennings on camera.
I knew Bill was going to get it. There was a generation gap there. Here we go. Overtime.
Overtime has begun.
As Scott Van Pelt would say, because I was talking earlier that I would have bet the under, but this is overtime, so it is definitely overtime. We're well over the number now.
Yes, we are.
I would not have said 4 goals is the number.
We do have a challenge along that right sideline. I'm not sure if we have an injury. Looks like a quick official's timeout. I'm not sure if the call is going the Bulldogs' way or the Clippers' way. No, it's going to be a throw, so there was no foul called on the play as the Clippers player was spilled. I think we're waiting for a ball at this point in time. There is some confusion. The referees do not seem to be taking the lead, but yes, we are going to have a goal kick. So Santos will kick it out of her own end. She shifts fields to the right-hand side here. Field players move over as she offers her service up the right side. The Bulldogs are going to look to try to capitalize on the momentum they generated throughout the second half. Here, Ava Dubois is challenging into the 18-yard box. Over to Crowder. She can't quite corral it. Morris, though, serves to Neve Humphrey. Her ball does get close to the cage, but Rinaldi will scoop that up.
I like the aggressiveness by Ava coming straight up the middle with the ball and set up Neve with a shot. Not necessarily perfect, but still a decent chance for Bedford there about a minute into overtime.
Yeah, I have to note the play at the midfield here from Abby Forrester. Of course, she had the second goal, the equalizer, but she has gotten her head on a number of services from Rinaldi. In the midfield, getting that first touch, so crucial to dominating possession as well as the direction of the ball from those services. So she's done an excellent job getting under the ball and heading the ball, directing towards her teammates.
And now Portsmouth with a great chance here on the offensive side.
Stella Bolduc along the left-hand side. Challenged nicely by Neve Humphrey. Got a foot on it, deflected it up high. Challenge there is not going to get called. Hasn't been called all night. As you've mentioned earlier, Clippers player did get all ball as Dubois spilled. No call. I believe that was Morgan and Runke on the challenge. Deflected there again by Baldock, but the Bulldogs will have a throw. And Cloutier conveniently takes an extra 15 yards on the throw. Now Dubois gets challenged and smashed, but play on is called as she had an advantage. She does keep possession. Crowder fumbles a little bit, but then gets it back wide left. Bobotis can't corral that, but challenges well. Will get to it along the left side. Ball there, excellent save twice by Rinaldi.
Oh boy.
Unbelievable effort there by Rinaldi. Her positioning was impeccable as Lana Morris had 2 strikes at it, but Rinaldi is solid and keeps the Clippers in this game.
And I don't know that you're going to get a whole lot better of a chance than that chance or those chances just were. The first chance was great. I didn't see who had it. I think it was Bobotis, you said. And the second 2 from Lana. And frankly, I have no idea how Rinaldi saved either of those 2.
Amazing positioning, stayed on her line deep, got in the right spot at the right time, and prevented that game-winning goal by Morris. But yes, Bobotis was deep on the left-hand side, served a beautiful ball right into the box, right in front of Rinaldi. And here Neftali does well to shield off the ball.
Somewhat surprised that there was no penalty called over there on the far side.
A little bit. Again, physical play.
Physical play, but that one kind of verged into dragging somebody down, which you usually can't get away with. But then again, we saw Portsmouth get away with it earlier in the game, grabbing onto a jersey.
They do earn a goal kick, and Santos will survey the field before she approaches.
Are they called jerseys? Like in hockey, they're sweaters.
Yeah, they're still, well, you know, you could say kit, but that's the entire uniform, right?
Okay.
We used to say uniform, they say kit now.
Oh, speaking of soccer terms, I just heard from our friends in Portsmouth that they are tied 2-2 as well and going to overtime.
Okay.
Yes, so
There you
apparently
go.
it's something in the water. I feel like we should be playing for some kind of cup between these 2 towns.
Threat here, though. Nice service back. A half volley is going to sail high and wide. But that right there was the best opportunity so far for the Clippers. Crowd again is into it, cheering on both teams. Some substitutions are made for the Clippers. 5 minutes left to go in this first overtime period. The remainder of this overtime will be kept on the field as far as the timing is concerned.
And I'm guessing that we're going to be a little bit over 5 minutes in real life.
I would think so, as there was a stoppage. A couple players were spoken to. Good challenge here by Forrester. Uses her body well and prevents the Clippers players from retaining possession. Now Lana Morris gets a nice touch to get herself free. Challenge is deep in the right corner. Her pass will come back to a Clipper player and then deflected out of bounds by Neve Humphrey. Humphrey volleys that in. Shanked by the Clipper defender. So Rinaldi will come out, scoop that one up. So we've had opportunities both ways, none better than the 2 that Lana Morris had at about the 7-minute mark. We will have a push in the back by Forrester, so the Clippers will have a free kick right about midfield.
Here's a soccer rules question because I don't know the answer. And if I intentionally kick it back to my keeper, they cannot handle it with their hands. If I unintentionally kick it back to my keeper, it's okay.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
That was an unfortunate shank by the defender there, Ophelia Suddy.
A fan.
As she had a glancing blow go off of her, I believe, right foot, and it did go back in on Rinaldi, so she is able to handle it at that point in time.
Knuckleball.
They did change that rule so that if it is a deliberate pass back to your goalkeeper, they cannot handle it.
When did that happen?
Jeez, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago. It's been a while. Now Du Bois is into a counter-strike position. One touch too hard, though, and that will be deflected out. But her aggressive nature comes through again as she was getting that ball out there, using her speed. Trying to put pressure on the D. Good turn here by Crowder. Back to Matthews. Holding mid, comes forward, gets it back to Du Bois.
I'm going to guess we're somewhere around the 3-minute mark.
Cloutier comes back now. Sends it back to Santos. Santos to Stein.
Boom.
And her strong leg gets it forward. This could be trouble. And it is going to be.
Get.
Ooh, that's still a throw, and it did go out on the side.
Like, how much body English can I give?
I saw him contorting himself
right,
here as
seriously.
he watched that ball carry him out of bounds.
I know, I could have been on Dancing. Oh, no, I shouldn't be on Dancing with Anything.
Du Bois here looks to turn. Humphrey left service into the box. Matthews takes a half volley, but that will go wide right. A couple of the fans are claiming about a minute left here in the first overtime.
Incorrect. About 2.
Okay, so 2 minutes left.
Hey, that's a full 60 more seconds.
As they look for the golden goal.
6-minute abs. Not 7, 6.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, you need the extra minute.
You need the extra minute.
Yeah, it's not 5. Jeez, I was always more of an abs of steel fan instead of the 6-minute abs. But, we got some roughhousing going on. We'll stop the clock.
What does that signal mean?
I think Ava Du Bois is going to get shown a yellow. I'm not sure I would agree with that, but that physical play was going both ways. But Du Bois will get the yellow. So it's a warning. Clock was stopped momentarily. Just about a minute to go here in the first overtime. And that was one of the points in time where the physical play did go over the line, and the referee wants to try to set that precedent moving forward. He's not going to tolerate that, so Ava will be sent off. Not permanently. The Bulldogs are not down a player permanently as they would be with a red card, so the substitution comes in. It is Kate Michael as she comes across here to the right-hand side. She'll be a right attacking mid. And gets into the mix right away as the ball comes her way. Throw by the Clippers. Turn there, but stepped up by Matthews.
Now.
She is getting grabbed, quite obviously, but ignored by the referees.
I don't know why the Portsmouth fans are out of sorts about that, but that was...
Yeah, kind of strange. I mean, if your player's getting away with something, why are you going to be up in arms?
Right, grab around the neck. About half a minute to go here in overtime number 1.
Morris earns the ball back. Crowder, diagonal. And Babotas deflects it in. But not quite too much of a challenge there, and we'll hear the end of the first overtime period. We'll reset the clock to 10 minutes. Swap ends and continue this battle for another 10.
It's really funny. I didn't think I was staying for much of the varsity game, yet here I am.
Nearly 8 p.m.
It is.
I appreciate your dedication to the broadcast. I'm sure the BC TV audience appreciates it as well.
The overtime that I'm getting paid for doing this is phenomenal.
You get time and a half for overtime,
time and a half,
right?
it's true. I mean, Bill's nice enough to triple my salary for, so
that's great.
What's 0 times 3?
Well, I've heard that's still 0.
Yeah, I know.
I wasn't the best math student, but I at least know that one. But we do appreciate the BC TV crew bringing this out to all of the soccer fans in the Bedford community. Not sure if the Portsmouth community has tuned in, but certainly relatives across the country.
These people are mortified that we're not taking the game seriously enough. Corey is a serious broadcaster, legitimate. I'm an imposter.
That's debatable.
I saw the front page of the Bulletin. Was that Phil Bruno? Or Corey was on it? For real? Why didn't I get a signed copy yet?
I'm a little embarrassed, Lauren. I'm a little embarrassed.
You should be embarrassed that you didn't give me a signed copy.
Bill intentionally put me on the front page. I thought it was going to be like, back page, page six girl was going to be above me, and I was going to get like a little blurb.
That's
hey
why.
guys, I'm here.
Page 6, like the sordid details of your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I know.
Color photo. Coach Matthews of the varsity football team and I had an opportunity to speak before the actual season started, talking about the prospects of what was coming. And the snapshot was captured in full detail, Lauren. You'd be proud. Coach Matthews looked great.
Yes. I am sure.
So that was a quick 5 minutes turnaround. I don't think it was 5 minutes, but
wow, we're flying.
We will have the second of 2 overtimes. 10 minutes back on the board. Appreciate the BCTV crew. Bill Jennings here. I believe Colleen Richardson is back at the studio. No, not Colleen. Oh, okay. Dale Bird, we do appreciate back in the studio helping out with this broadcast. Fantastic. Thank you so much, sir. BCTV is also covering the school board meeting, I'm told. So we're wondering what kind of fireworks are going off in there tonight. I'm sure there's some heated debate on all types of fun subjects.
Nope.
We're going to keep it lighthearted like we talked about with Fox on Sports.
Yep. I don't know, man. Again, I'm not very good at being a serious human being. It's not one of my strong suits.
Well, you are serious when the intensity rises.
Right.
I've seen it on the basketball court.
I know. Like, I just, it's like I just want to, hey, we're all rowing in the same direction. Let's go. That's it. I'm a pacifist, man.
Listen, I wasn't going to mention those topics that might be
I know. I don't even know what they are. I just know that that's why I don't go on a certain social media site anymore.
What is not in debate is a free kick for the Bulldogs.
Yep.
As Olivia Matthews was fouled on that previous play. Sari Stein looks to service it into the offensive end on what was the first goal by Crowder. She gets it in, but no Bulldog player is able to get a touch, and Manali will gobble that up and clear her zone. Defenders pull up. Her punt goes just about to midfield. Threat here, though. Challenge along the far sideline, and that ball will be touched out by Stein. Clippers venturing forward.
For those who might have joined us late, Portsmouth got the scoring started off about 15 minutes in. Got another one in the first half, led 2-0. And this Portsmouth team had given up 7 goals all year. And Bedford got one early, about 29 minutes in the second, and then tied it with about 21 minutes to go.
And here we are in the second of 2 overtimes. Just over 8 minutes to go. If the teams do maintain this tie throughout the rest of this overtime period, it will be a tie full time. And of course, if one scores, it is a golden goal. Sudden victory, as they have now adapted the terminology.
It's funny. I was not aware.
It seems sudden death is a little too morbid.
It's a little morbid, yes.
And you probably want to celebrate the victory instead of
sudden
the alternative.
Victory.
Yes. Golden goal. Golden goal.
Immediate expiration.
Yeah.
It's like rollerball.
Crowder here has a chance, right-footed, but it again will roll in to Rinaldi, who shifts to her right and scoops it up without a problem. Half volley there. Neftali steps over. Gets it back out to the side. Kate Michael loses the ball, but Stein is there to help.
I would wonder if Hansen can make a haiku using half volley and Naftali. That is all.
Well, the haiku doesn't even need to
Yeah,
rhyme,
it doesn't even
so,
need to
yeah.
happen. No, I
Just
mean,
need
it'd
your
just be phenomenal.
575 and
I
you'd
know.
be fine. So,
Hansen wrote an entire book of haiku. All right, I'm not even going to go there right now.
wow.
Yep.
I would imagine all sports related.
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Haiku a day for a year.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
And adapted for current events, I hope.
That was 2012.
Wow. He must have been really bored in 2012.
I don't know. It's just Hansen doing Hansen things. Big boot from Bedford. Chase down Kate and Michael, not able to get to it before it goes out of bounds. And Rinaldi will. Portsmouth's triple wing formation on the goal line kick.
This looks like more like a cover two here, though, right? The cornerbacks are up. The
Tampa
safeties
two,
are deep. And Rinaldi will kick it almost from a dime there, though, like ultimate free safety. Matthews does well to kick it outside to Neve Humphrey. Now up the right side. Ball turned over there, but Cloutier will get it deep. Du Bois deep into the corner, but that will go out of bounds for a Clipper throw-in. Just about 5 minutes left here. Again, the scoreboard will stop at 5 minutes. The remainder of time will be kept on the field by the officials, as is customary in the second half and both overtime periods. There's trouble here, though, as Santos is out of her cage. Now it's a speed match. Naftali shows her wheels as Santos was caught in between, well out of her goalkeeper area. Challenged the ball. Players fell down, and Naftali showed her incredible speed from her left back position and prevented the golden goal.
I'm telling you, man, multiple do-or-dies on that play, starting with Zoe Santos coming out to challenge the ball, and once she didn't win it, you had two Portsmouth players with a shot, and it looked like they were clear at the goal, and Naftali cuts in out of nowhere, basically saves the game.
And again, indecision by Santos. It was just out of her reach. She hesitated, and that hesitation, as you often see, is what causes the challenges. Volley here will go wide right. Santos will have a goal kick. And the Bulldogs pulled a Houdini on that one. How many youngsters do you think know who Houdini is? You think a high schooler
very
would know?
few at this point. High schoolers? No.
Yeah.
No.
Did you see Bill Jennings raised his hand? I appreciate him thinking of himself as a youngster.
I think he raised his hand because he knew Houdini personally.
Oh.
Yes. He's going to kill me.
Oh, he might.
Yes.
We're going to have a foul here on Matthews. Little hip check, put her out of position.
3:40 by my timing.
And again, inside the 50 here, so just over midfield. Sari Stein's probably going to try to get an extra yard or two and serve up a ball into the offensive box to see if they can get another flick. Again, how Grace Crowder scored the first of the Bulldogs' goals. This right here, again, a challenge. But Rinaldi will come out and scoop it up again. So again, nice plays there. The Bulldogs trying to get a head, a foot, a knee, whatever, to deflect that ball into their offensive box. Some tough spots there. Sari Stein comes away with that. Challenge from behind by Morris, and that ball will go out of bounds. Good hip check from behind. Nobody fell. Nobody really took too much of a shot, so they let it go. Naftali, long throw. Morris flicks it, but the defenders are right there. So again, I'm thinking that Santos was likely spoken to at halftime about helping her back line with those up and over balls. And with less experience or habit of playing those might have caused that challenge here. Great ball backside here to Kate Michael. Her left foot is going to sail high and wide. But a decent opportunity there for the left attacking midfielder. As we see, Zoe Santos about 10 yards outside of the goalkeeper box, looking to help out her back line.
Got about 150 left in the game, at least unofficially.
Rinaldi's goal kick is trapped, served wide by Matthews, but Clippers come onto it and now get forward. Parker runs through it. Neftali back, and she's going to get fouled. Looks like their feet might have got tripped up, a little tangled there, but the trailing Portsmouth player is going to get called for that foul. Several fans disagree with the call. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I would have gone more with an incidental contact type thing and said let it go, but I don't know that it would have mattered anyway. It would have gone over the end line.
Good ball here for Morris. Morris has two attackers coming in the middle. Cuts back. Nicely played by the defender there, but for the Clippers, though. And now the counter strike. The midfield, you can tell, is getting tired as there's about a 20-yard gap. And then here's Zoe Santos, as we were talking about, coming out. Misplays the volley, but at least prevented an offensive strike. Ball's played deep. This is threatening, and it's over. That looked like it hit off either the crossbar. Jeez, did that hit off the goal or the crossbar?
It hit off the top bar of the goal.
And the Clippers are there to take advantage.
Yep.
And they score the golden goal. My eyes were deceiving me. It looked like it went off the football crossbar,
Nope.
but it went off the soccer crossbar, bounced out very conveniently to a Clippers player, and they will come away with a victory with probably only a minute to go in the second overtime period.
Right, and I was going to say, it really seemed as if Zoe had found a rabbit's foot with that thing going off the crossbar. It was a shot that she was slightly out of position on and was trying to get back and was running on her heels at that point, jumped up, and it would have beaten her if it was half a foot lower, hit the crossbar, popped right back out, and popped right onto the foot of a Portsmouth player, and she was able to knock it in, give them a 3-2 win with less than half a minute to go in this one.
And that's a tough one for the Bedford Bulldogs to swallow. Again, a great match from start to finish. Took 2 overtime periods and nearly the entire second overtime period, but the Clippers do come away with victory, 3-2 here at Bedford High School. Again, I appreciate Lauren Fox joining me here in the box this evening. I'm Corey Munster-Tiger for BCTV. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Thanks again to the BCTV crew, and good luck to the Bulldogs for the rest of the season. We might be able to broadcast a playoff game if and when that comes. Good luck for the rest of the season. We'll sign off for now.